to another Real Rap review. This is JP Monia, and today I'll be reviewing Fantastic Four First Steps. It is hot outside. I am ready to go, ready to do review. Let's do it. So, the newest film in the MCU, but it doesn't take place in Earth 616. It takes place in Earth 838, so it is an alternate universe to the main MCU. So let's get into the Fantastic Four's film history, because we can't gloss over it. So, it hasn't been so great. The first time, this is the fifth attempt to bring them into theaters. But, the first time, 1994, that movie ended up being unreleased. It was finished, but unreleased. It would be leaked later on. I thought it was aight. 2005, then we got the first one to actually come out in theaters, and then we had a sequel to that, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I'm not gonna lie, I grew up with those films, so I'm a little biased, but I like those films. I know they're not the best, they're not good, they're mediocre, but they're a guilty pleasure of mine. I always enjoy it, and it does feel like the Fantastic Four, at least. I go into those movies and I'm like, it might not be the best. They could have a better Doctor Doom. Now, I want to say the casting for those films are awesome. Julian McMahon, rest in peace. He was a really, really good Doom. I think with better writing, he would have been amazing. But like with what the writing was and everything, the cast was far from the problem. It was the writing. It could have been a lot better, and I want to see the Fantastic Four at its full potential, Doctor Doom at his full potential. So, but I did think they did a great Silver Surfer, but their Galactus was garbage. But, overall, I still enjoy those movies and everything. But then, and also Chris Evans was a great Human Torch, another great casting there. But then, sadly, we got to 2015, Fan Four Stick. We don't call that one Fantastic Four 2015. That's Fan Four Stick. That's the official title that everyone calls it at this point, Fan Four Stick. And just like the name, it was total garbage. Absolute garbage. It was a disgrace to the Fantastic Four. Everyone knows the whole, oh, what did you just say? Oh, that's fantastic. And that's how they got the Fantastic Four name, all that stuff. It's stupid. Terrible movie. No one likes it. Doom and that. Disgraceful. Just one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Not even just the worst superhero movies I've ever seen. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. Just no one liked that movie. So, after two mediocre films and a very disastrous reboot, here we are with another reboot. The Fantastic Four First Steps making their MCU debut. And there was like a slow build-up. Of course, you had John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic show up in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and then he died. Chris Evans reprised his role as Human Torch in Deadpool and Wolverine, and then he died. So those two appearances led to the real Fantastic Four, the main Fantastic Four we will be seeing in the MCU. So yeah, here we are. And what do I think about this movie and this cast? So I thought this movie was really, really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I think the 60s setting really, really helped the movie a lot. It was a different setting, and it really, really went into how they looked in the comics. The most iconic comics, the Jack Kirby ones. It was able to, deviate from that style and everything, and it was really, really cool to see that style in live action. It was a very, very comic booky movie, and I love that so much. I think it benefited everything. It is a beautiful movie to look at, in my opinion. The cinematography is great. I think the CGI, for the most part, is really good. Galactus and Silver Surfer, speaking of them, the, Rise of the Silver Surfer, ironically, also had these same characters. So Silver Surfer in here, I thought she was really good, the Shia LaBeouf version. I really, really enjoyed her character here. And Galactus, this time he wasn't a freaking cloud, he was an actual version of, physical Galactus, and he looked amazing on the screen. So all the designs, all the costumes and everything, the Thing, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, they look great in this film. Now, as for the actual story, I think the story it did really well. I think they did well with it. I really like the story a lot, especially because I really have been wanting to see Galactus in this form. The real Galactus, not stupid cloud Galactus. I really want to see the actual Galactus in live action. And, they served a story where they made him as menacing as possible. He was a legit threat in this film, and they didn't treat him like a joke. And I think the way they did everything, especially with his character, they did a great job, because, it's just like Galactus. I feel like he was going to be hard, because I think he could be considered an Avengers level threat too. But A Fantastic Four here, they did a great job, with his character. And as for Reed and the rest, they all felt like a family. They all felt amazing. It was really, really cool to see all of them together, acting like a family, doing family stuff, and, it was just great. I thought Pedro Pascal killed it as Mr. Fantastic. He was awesome. The writing for him, I know there was a lot of people worried about how he would play Mr. Fantastic. I always thought he was a fine choice. He's a great actor, so I was very confident in him. I was very confident in this whole cast. But I do understand the concerns, and I think he was a standout in this film. He did a fantastic job portraying Reed, and it's the Reed that you guys see in the comics. Exactly like that. It was perfect. Same with Sue Storm, just definitely the best Sue Storm we've got. Definitely the best Reed Richards we got by far. And it was great. Johnny Storm, Joseph Quinn, he did a good job as well. I don't know if he's better than Chris Evans, because Chris Evans did a great job as well. I would say he's tied for me. And when it comes to The Thing, I forgot the actor's name. Ibn Mas Ubrak, I think that's how I say his name. He was really good as well as The Thing. Those two I'm a little tied on, because I do love the Michael Chiklis and Chris Evans versions as well. We don't talk about Fantastic ones, because they were all of them the great actors in that one. Don't get me wrong, all of them are really good actors, but they were terrible as those characters. Not their fault, but I think they did a great job as well. I would say they're tied for now, but who knows? Maybe in the future that will change. But when it comes to Sue Storm, Reed Richards, we have the best ones here. And yeah, even Johnny here, they did a great job of him just not making him seem like that's the one thing I might say that's over him. Actually, I don't know, because the second one didn't make him like a kind of total doofus. Resident Silver Surfer, it made him, show that like he's just not the cocky pushover playboy that he always is. Like sometimes he does have a heart, and sometimes he figures things out on his own. So he has his own way of being smart. So that's what they did here with Johnny Storm, and I loved that a lot. But yeah, the score, fantastic. No pun intended. I thought the score here was great. The Fantastic Four, just awesome. And if I had to say some negatives, probably, I do wish there was a little bit more time to show some stuff. No spoilers here, but as you guys probably heard in the beginning or a few weeks ago, John Malkovich's character, Red Ghost, was supposed to be in this film. He is mentioned in the film, and there is a thing in the beginning. This is actually a slight spoiler, I'm sorry. There is something in the beginning of the film where, they're showing like the past villains that the F4 has faced off against, and they do mention Red Ghost, but they never show him. And I would have loved to seen him in this film. I know, like they said, it wasn't like a significant thing, but I thought it still would have been cool, even if it was like 10 seconds of showing him. I think within the opening scene of the movie, it still could have worked. That's one of my complaints. The story isn't perfect. Of course, there's some things about it that I wish it was fleshed out more, especially when it comes to Natasha Lyonne's character. I felt that thing was a bit rushed. I feel like we could have gotten maybe 1 or 2 more scenes to establish her character more. I can't really spoil too much about it, but it's she's in the movie, she didn't get cut, and yeah, I do wish we had a little bit more fleshed out character there. But overall, I think this film, for me, it's gonna get a very high rating. I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was that good to me. I really enjoyed it a lot. So what do you guys think? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time for another Real Rap review. I'm gonna head inside. I'm sweating. Enjoy the weather, fellas. It's great today.